This is for Alexandre Álvaro. Um, so the first thing that I would say right off the bat is the composition's okay. When I read it, it reads the things that I read are basically her first, this second, which is good, and then you kind of have a swooping motion, which is overall what you want. The problem with it, though, is that nothing reads as far as depth. It all has that faded feel to it. So, one of the things that you want to do is you want to really sit down and separate your elements up. Things this far in the background, this is parallel to her or on the same playing level as her. So, like if I would draw her like this, and I'm going to go across like this is on the same playing level. So this here is all on the same level. These are foreground elements right here, and I'm just going to cross that. And then as you get further back into this here, if you kind of put it on that same plane, this is like so. So you can see how the depth is you're just getting too far too fast into your depth. So what I would tell you to do is go into, let's go into burn here, and I would definitely, let's midtones. So let's darken up some of these pillars, and you see how by darkening those up it's pushing things forward. And that's the first thing that I would say to do right off the top of your head is to just kind of push these elements a little bit further, because right now everything is got this uh, faded effect. And I get you're trying to add the atmospheric perspective to it, but do you see how by just putting in those shadows, it really pops out your elements? Now, the second thing is, you're looking at your lighting here. All your lighting seems to come from this direction downward, or maybe even downward like this. So the things that you want to brighten up are the things like this here, her lap. Probably even put a little bit more light on her. Pop in some of this light that you're trying to show with your midtones. And then as you get further back, that's when you can kind of push things together. And it's very subtle what I did, but you can see how by pushing those things back, now I'm kind of drawing the eye a little bit more. I'm pushing things in the distance a little bit more. And you can even go in and burn, different pieces here to kind of push some of this backwards. And it's okay to have things in shadow if that's where you're pushing your composition to. Um, and so you want to be really, really kind of aware of that aspect and really kind of push that aspect out. Now, the other thing too is if you're burning things, you want the shadows in there, like under the eyes and under the nose. That's going to give more depth where you don't really have a lot of depth going on. Um, and so that's going to kind of really just push the lights and darks up here. And I think that's one of the things that you want to do is really push this aspect. Like I said, you have a good composition going. Everything's kind of this diagonal, a little bit diagonal with a little bit of swirl. Um, but with the lion here, or the leopard here, you could also even push him further into kind of this background, um, or even bring him out a little bit further. So it really depends on what you want to do with it. But that said, you kind of have to figure out what's going on with it, because right now, beforehand, everything's so faded and this pops out too much versus versus the rest of it. So you need that contrast in there to kind of push a little bit more of your distance going on. All right.